Hello and welcome to another Demis Hellen tutorial. So I'm working on a track and I thought it would be a good time to record what is happening here and how I've just changed a few things up to suit a new start to this track, and then possibly I'll do another video on how I blend these two very different ideas together. I'll play you them both first, but first things first, I just have to add some kickstart to this, just so it doesn't sound too mashed when you're listening to it. Just bear with me on the mouse thing there. There we are. That should be fine. So I've used Carbon Electra, which I got free at Christmas. I don't know what it was. It was some sort of free plugin giveaway, and I've never really used it. So this is the sound that we've got out of it from a preset. So it sounds quite nice once you couple that up with the rest of the bass. And add in this is now not a sub bass, it's just it's more of a synth level bass. Okay, so it's in the early stages of being mixed, but it's kind of where I want it to sit. And then we have this start. Okay, so we have that idea there, and then we have this idea for the melody. So it's just using a scale, and I'm just using the scale to create the melody, nothing special. But it has huge effects, especially if you couple it with the right sounds. So then that filters in here. So you've got to bear in mind these sounds have now changed. This was a sub bass, so it wasn't as obvious. So it would be that, and then probably coupled with this. So it's all to be worked out yet. But the thing is with this bass here, if you look at Carbon Electra, I have done a -5 here on pitch, so it's giving it a nice darker tone. So it might not necessarily fit later on in the track. So that's where it stands at the moment. And what I'm doing is just developing the entire thing here. So let's start by adding the same colour so we know what we're working with. So all my bases are the same. And I'm just blending these together with the kick drums. Let's just get rid of that for a second. So this sound needs to be really upfront. And what I'm doing at the moment is using a combination of OTT compression. Let's just drop them. A combination of OTT compression, which is free by the way, and then using the glitch. Now I've used this in previous examples, where I use the distortion out of here to shape, because the distortion unit in here is pretty unique. It's got very simple things, but it's got a very nice sound. If you just wanted to use it as a distortion tool, just draw your line straight across, and you've got your distortion. So let's just turn the volume down a second. So with and then without. So I always tend to choose Razor. Choose the tone, the drive. That sounds a bit nicer. So then we've gone from that to that, so it just changes the tone. You can control it quite easily, just like a normal distortion unit. before. So it's just quieter at the moment, so let's just turn the volume back up. Just to give it a bit more life. And then we can add all different things, like we could add this gator in. So what we're going to do at the moment is just turn the mix down. Just to give it a little bit more staccato to the notes, so they're nice and short. And then we could add anything in here, like just tape stops. We could reverse it, we could delay, we could put some stretching on it. But I'm just going to use it as this for now. So coupled up with OTT, it does work quite nice. So we can bypass everything here because Kickstart's not actually applying any audible effect apart from ducking. So this is before. And then after. So it's nice and aggressive, it's tight, it's not floppy in the mix. And then all the sub action is taken by these two guys. So there's only the few tweaks that I need to make now. One of them being it's very closed in. This is a preset again. I think it's 7 skies. It's quite close, and I think that's to do with the hyper dimension. I'm not a massive fan of the hyperdimension or the reverb, and that's why I've kind of chosen this preset, because he hasn't used the reverb built in. It sounds really dodgy a lot of the time, and it's better to add it in after. Okay, so now we have a bit more of an aggressive start. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much mixed there. Maybe just a tad lower on the mix, audible wise. As you can see, I've done no processing on the kick yet, so levels are all over the place, but I'm starting to get the general sound that I'm going for. So it sounded pretty weak before, especially with this support synth. It was more like that. Let's put that with the kick and the sub. Let's just take these off. Then I started with the fab filter correction on the EQ, which is here. So we've used a bandpass, and then I've just cut out this whistling frequency here. It's just part of the syllable that I didn't want in there. And then OTT does the majority of the work on really bringing all the detail and the aggressiveness out of it. And then glitch is just to shape the tone, just that little bit, to give it a little bit more sparkle in the mix. And that is your final result. So it's still sounding a bit weak, this one. So I'll probably couple it up with another sound, something on its own, just to support them sections to make it sound a bit thicker. Yes, so the next video I will do a transition of how I get from this to that. So it's going to be interesting because I've made that totally independently of the track. This was just an idea that I got down on paper very quickly, and it just turned into that. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm just kind of easing myself back into it. I'm still on the job hunt, still working out what I want to do as a career since everything went kaput. So you can hear about that in the last video if you want. I think it's very brief. I don't want to bore you guys with it. But yeah, the next video will be covering on how I'm going to make that transition. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week in the next video. See you later.